After my class 12, I couldn't get into my dream college. So it was my plan that I want to get into the best institutions of the country for my masters. First of all, I used to follow the classes. I don't think I have missed any of the classes. If there was college required to go, I used to go. After the noon, I used to give to my coaching studies only. I would also like to add that there are a lot of sacrifices involved. So sticking to the schedule was my most priority, and between that, I used to take gaps. So my point of view of giving mocks is that it built my confidence and my preparation strategy.
All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to today's session. Today we are with Shivank. Shivank has made it to DSE, IGIDR and a lot of other places. But Shivank's chosen to go to DSE. So many congratulations, Shivank.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tell us something about your background, like where are you from? And a little bit about your journey.
My name is Shivank. I did my schooling from Silchar, Assam, and I did my undergrad from Assam University, Silchar. So my course was in economics honors. My major was in economics and minor was in math. So what happened was that right after my undergrad, actually after my class 12, I couldn't get into my dream college. So it was my plan that I want to get into the best institutions of the country for my masters. With the beginning of my undergrad only, I was searching about like how can we get into the best institutes. So I got to know about DSE, IGIDR IITs and ISI and other. So I remember inquiring into EduSure in the first year itself only. So that time, ma'am said me that we have a 2-year course, so that you join in next year. So I joined in the next year itself from the 2-year eco topper program. First foundation and then eco topper. And this year, so I got offers from first to IIT Roorkee, then IIT Delhi, then IIT Madras. Then through CUET, I applied to only to 3 institutes and I got offers from all of them. That is the DSE, JNU, and IGIDR.
Amazing. So that is great. If in a nutshell, you can tell a person who is starting this journey that, this is what you need to do to be able to maybe crack, let's say CUET, get into DSE or IGIDR or crack an IIT JAM entrance or something. What is like your one favorite tip or one most important tip that you think you will give?
First, the starting one should start by building the very strong foundation, especially from the lectures and the references which you all suggest. Like the way I used to study was that, first of all, I used to follow the classes. I don't think I have missed any of the classes. So what I used to do is that I used to follow up the lectures, then go up on the portal, then watch the lectures which are there. Along with that, I used to follow up the notes. And ma'am, what I used to study is that, like you have taught it us, that in macro we have 2 sorts of expectations. One is rational and one is adaptive. So what I followed it in the sense that I followed rational expectations in the sense that studying by taking into account the set of all possible information available to us. So in that sense, I used to take lectures first of all, then follow up with the notes which are there in the portal, then the references which used to suggest. And I used to combine these 3 and make my own notes. And so in this way, my concepts were were built in a very systematic manner. So after that, there was in the portal there was a huge list of questions. So on an average, we can say that each chapter had around 80 to 90. Sometimes macro crossed around more than 140. Maths used to cost more than 100. So then the journey would start that doing questions from the start to the end. And after that, what I used to do is that from all the questions which I have practiced, I used to make a short notes of what are the tricks involved in certain questions. So I used to keep a note of all these things. And these things used to help me in the mocks as well. Because in the mocks, I used to prepare a separate mistakes copy also, along with the topics, like which are the things where I'm doing mistake. So this helped me a lot in IIT JAM. After getting IIT, I spoke to you and sir. Sir, should I give CUET this one? My main name is the another thing. Should I go for it? Then you said, no, DSE is one of the best institution of the country. You should give CUET very seriously. And then I followed your advice and got a good rank. But that didn't happen with GATE actually, because I told you no that my aim was IIT Delhi. I wanted IIT Delhi, so I gave JAM with full focus. But GATE was little bit. I wasn't that much serious, but still I got the offer. I got all India rank 70. But if I had been serious, I could get much better rank.
Correct. So yeah, that is something that I believe that a lot of students have. They have preferences that I will only give. Maybe ISI I'll give seriously, or maybe I'll only give MSc seriously. I will not give this seriously. But this helps a lot, right?
Yes, ma'am, helps a lot.
It helps a lot. Okay. And so this your preparation was very systematic, Shivank.
Mhm.
I knew you were a diligent boy, but इतना systematic तो मुझे भी नहीं पता था.
Ma'am, I would like to add one thing that this approach which I said no, this wasn't the approach which I started off from the first. Actually, the approach which I told you, this has come into account after lots of trial and error. I
Hmm.
used to try one approach and say, let's say this didn't help me in the weekly test, so I used to
Hmm.
change it. And then this was the final one which I thought was best suited for me.
For you. Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, that's a lot of hard work also. So, what about your college? Like, were you able to manage your college along with doing so much?
Yes, ma'am. So with respect to that, I made up a very fixed schedule for me. So what happened was that I used to allocate the first few hours to my undergrad studies, and then
Okay.
if there was college required to go, I used to go. And after that, the whole day, let's say after 12 p.m. or sorry, after the noon, I used to give to my coaching studies only
Okay,
the whole
okay, okay.
day.
So you
That's I
balanced
used
your
to,
day.
yeah, like used to
Okay.
I used to allocate it very goodly. Like in the starting of the journey, for instance, let's say my stats was little bit weak. So
Hmm.
let's say I used to allocate. I still remember from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. I used to study the stats FC Gupta book. Then
Hmm.
let's say from 5 to 6 I used to sit with Siddharth and Hammond and I completed it. Then from 6 to 6:30 was something. Then from 6:30 to 7 was break. And then from 7 we had the classes. Then
Hmm.
after that I used to sit for the studies again.
Okay. Did you have difficulty in sticking to the schedule because everybody has good days, bad days, you know?
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
was
Yeah,
your dream like very, very strong कि नहीं मुझे I have to do this and that is why you stuck to your plan?
yeah, I stuck to it to the best of my ability. Like I would say that in a 7 day week, we cannot do 100% all the 7 days. So
Hmm.
if it is 6 days at least, then also it works. So
Hmm.
along with that, I would also like to add that there are a lot of sacrifices involved. So sticking to the schedule was my most priority, and between that, I used to take gaps.
Oh, so you were very, very focused. Your results are the result of that only, that you were
Yes, ma'am.
so focused and you knew that getting into a top institute does require sacrifices.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is something I think all the students must know
Mhm.
that it's not going to happen without sacrifices. It's not
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
happen without
Mhm.
consistently 4 hours of
Mhm.
studying every day. It's
Mhm.
not going to happen without
Yes,
that
ma'am.
because so many students are competing for the same
Yeah,
space.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Along with that, ma'am, another thing was in my mind that the students along with whom I am competing, they are from the best institutes of the in India, like
Yeah.
from the best colleges of DU or CU. So they have advantage accesses to various other things which I didn't have. So
Hmm.
this mentality was in my mind that whatever I have is my laptop, the EduSure portal, and whatever you all are teaching me. So
Hmm.
my main aim was to make best use of whatever resources I have, and
Hmm.
I made that so I was able to compete with them as well.
Yes, that is amazing. And so, Shivang, what about your weak areas? What were your weak areas before you started this journey?
Ma'am, mostly it was statistics because I would say because the math I had studied in my 10 plus 2 and
Hmm.
also I had it in my undergrad. But
Hmm.
statistics, what happened was that, ma'am, I didn't study it separately. So there was an initial fear in my mind, which I also addressed to you in our weekly guidance sessions. And
Hmm.
you said us how to do it. So I started off with the S.C. Gupta book. Another thing ma'am, which I did was that preparing mind maps of on my own.
Hmm.
Like this year we had many this match the following and this
Yeah.
train questions. So these were best to solve with the help of mind maps, which are prepared by myself on the
Okay.
basis of the exhaustive notes which you provide. I think if I started counting it, it would be more than 1,000 pages. And I think I could consume around 70 to 80% of them.
Okay. So you create, so basically try to put it in short so that you
Mhm.
can revise it and you can go over it again and again and again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. That is a great tip. So
Hmm.
nice. And anything special that you did just before the examination in terms of revision? When
Hmm.
you were revising, you already said you made a lot of notes. So did you just stick to the notes or did you stick to important questions or did
Yeah.
you take tests? What did you do before the exam?
Mhm. Ma'am, before the exam, so I said to that I had a mistakes copy with me.
Ha
So
ha ha.
that was, you can say, my Gita.
Okay.
I used to look at it very clearly. And apart from that, ma'am, the notes which I used to prepare, I used
Ha.
to make another set of mind maps from those notes as well.
Okay.
For instance, let's say consumer theory. I have to take consumer theory and all the preference I used to write. And
Hmm.
with respect to each preference, each utility function, what is the behavior of it? Every
Hmm.
mind map I used to prepare myself. And
Hmm.
that I saw one day before the exam.
Yes, it is important to revise all the important points at the last day, which like you did. And how was the exam experience? The day we were giving the exam?
Yeah, to that also I would like to end like the importance of mock test actually. So this year all of the exams were pretty unpredictable, except
Yes.
I think the GATE. So what happened was that I gave all the mocks of all
Yes.
exams, except I think CUT I missed 2 to 3, but other than that I gave all. So my point of view of giving mocks is that it built my confidence and my preparation strategy.
Hmm.
So for JAM, my strategy, sorry, the exam attempting strategy. So for JAM, my strategy was that I found out that the last section, which is the NAT type questions, where the most important, where you require the most focus, because the probability of getting the answer is least in NAT.
Hmm.
So I
Correct.
used to
No,
start,
no options. No,
yeah,
no
yeah,
options are there. Right, right,
yeah.
right.
So if it is a, let's say if it is a two-digit answer, then the
Right,
answer, the probability of getting is 1 out of 99.
right.
So I used to start with NAT only. This was my strategy, which
Oh,
I got to know by giving multiple mocks. Like I
correct.
used to analyze that if I go with this again, this is again by trial and error. That
Hmm.
which strategy works best for me. So what
Hmm.
happened was that my whole focus was that I will start with NAT, then I
Hmm.
will go to MSQ, then I will go to MCQ. So this worked
Hmm.
well, very well, because this year my batchmates told me that the twist which IIT Delhi brought in, it was mostly in the first two sections. NAT
Hmm.
was relatively same.
Hmm.
So that exam pattern is changed. I didn't understand it in the earlier, in the starting of the exam. I
Hmm.
understood it later when I have
Hmm.
completed the NAT. So as a result
Hmm.
of which I wasn't that much panicked. So that
Correct,
was
correct,
my,
correct. I think that's a great strategy because NET is very scoring also.
yes,
I
ma'am.
mean, because so many 2 mark questions are there. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a great strategy actually, that to do NET first and then to
Yes,
go
ma'am.
backwards, like
Yes, ma'am.
do the difficult part first, come to the easy part in the end.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a great strategy also. JAM was relatively, then you were calm in the exam, and CUET also, were you
Yes.
calm in the exam?
Actually, CUT, ma'am, so what happened was that first of all, when I saw the question paper, it was a really very weird experience for me. So what happened was that I started attempting all, and there was a, let's say, if you divide the question paper into three parts. The first part, let's say, I attempted a lot. The second part was a very big hollow space, which I didn't even attempt. Means these were questions after looking at, I was so scared that I skipped them all. And then there was the third part which I did. So after giving the examination, I was actually very less confident. Then I got to know that others also had similar experience.
Yes.
And after the final merit list came, then when I saw my rank, I was so happy.
Yeah, that is actually one thing also that people don't realize, that if an exam is bad, it's bad for everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody's going to feel, it's not that anybody else could have predicted or
Yes, ma'am.
prepared for this kind of a paper. Nobody could have.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
everybody is scared. So, so you just have to keep your cool and kind of, you have to just try to keep your cool and do whatever the best you can. If there's anything else that you would like to add as a morale booster to the students who are now sitting for the
Yeah.
exam.
Yeah, ma'am. I would like to say again, the only mistake which I committed to my preparation was that give every single exam more seriously. Especially be clear with all of the derivations, like the derivations which you do in the class for solo, for other math, ADAs and other. Every single step has to be so clear that if the question roundabouts is also, this derivations be clear. For instance, ma'am, I remember there was one econometrics question in JAM where it was saying that the R square is negative. So generally R square doesn't comes out to be
Yeah.
negative in the general where we study econometrics. But in that moment, no ma'am, my derivations were so clear. In the rough touchpad, I started deriving it and I got it negative. So that through that I got my correct answer.
Mm.
And one more thing which I would like to add through my experience I get is that first when a student starts preparing, he should write every single step in a very great detail, not skipping step, which I did. Why I'm saying is that first when one of the student does it very clearly, after that he should try to attempt the problem in a much smaller space. Because in JAM, the rough sheet which we got, I think the scribble pad around 16 pages. So initially I was a bit worried that how will I be able to do so many questions in just 16 pages. But at the end of the exam, I was so happy that I didn't even require 16 pages. Around 10
Okay.
to 12 pages, I was able to finish the whole paper.
Okay.
So the suggestion would be that first starting off by doing everything in detail and then trying to do much of the steps in your mind and only writing the bare minimum.
All right. Thank you, Shivank. All the very best at DSE.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
hope you do very well there and, break the records that are there in
Yes, ma'am.
DSE.
Sure.
Thank you, Shivank. Thank you so much.